Are you ready to unlock your full potential and maximize your productivity? Look no further than Productivity Smarts, the ultimate audio podcast hosted by renowned productivity expert Gerald J. Leonard. In every episode, Gerald shares captivating stories, invaluable tips, and cutting-edge strategies that will transform the way you approach productivity. Whether you're looking to reduce stress, overcome overwhelm, or simply get more done in less time, Productivity Smarts has got you covered. But that's not all. You'll also gain inspiration from real-life success stories of individuals who have achieved greatness through productivity. Plus, you'll learn the latest tools, techniques, and habits that will help you achieve a new level of happiness and fulfillment in your personal and professional life. So why wait? Join us every week as we delve into the exciting world of productivity and help you unleash your full potential. Get ready to take your productivity to the next level with Productivity Smarts. As a productivity expert and host of the Productivity Smarts podcast, Gerald J. Leonard has been a proud supporter of Kiva since 2011. Kiva is a non-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs in third world countries access the capital they need to start or grow their businesses. By making a small loan through Kiva, you can help these entrepreneurs achieve their dreams, support their families, and contribute to their local economies. And with a repayment rate of over 96%, your loan can be re-lent to another entrepreneur once it's repaid, creating a ripple effect of positive change. So if you're looking for a meaningful way to make a difference in the world, consider making a loan through Kiva. With loans as small as $25, anyone can be a micro-lender and help change lives. Visit kiva.org to learn more and start lending today.
Well, today I'm speaking with the Dream Team, bringing science and spirituality featured on A&E and E, VH1, Sirius XM, Coast to Coast AM, and countless other media outlets. Co-founders of the Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center of Incorporated. The Dream Team celebrates life coaching and creators of the Trust Yourself system and the Trust Yourself therapy. Innovators of One-Stop Solution and the One-Stop Therapy. Visionaries Dr. Nicole and Michael Sebastian, aka the Dream Team, are celebrity therapists, expert decision coaches, authors, celebrity dream experts, and celebrity life coaches and relationship experts. Dr. Nikki, and Mike, how are you?
Oh, hey, Gerald. We are really good today.
Gerald. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to our conversation. I think this is some really interesting and deep concepts that we're going to talk about that I think will enlighten a lot of people. And as they get your book to learn more about it, I think it's going to expand their insight and knowledge on some areas that in some ways aren't really talked about a lot, or really are, I will put it this way, understood at the level that you guys have come to understand them. But before we do that, I have a couple of questions for you that I always ask my guests, and that is, what is your favorite style or genre of music?
Right off the cuff, I've got to say DMX and Tupac. And my favorite song that keeps me pumping is Lord Give Me a Sign by DMX. Because as you know, we work with dreams, signs, and intuition. So there you go. Michael?
I like something that not a lot of people probably have heard, and that's the music of the spheres. You can hear it inwardly, and people always say they heard it when they have a near-death experience, so I don't want to wish that on anybody.
Right.
But short of that, jazz also. I love jazz. Like, just straight like Ahmad Jamal jazz, and I could listen to it for hours, but that's my favorite.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a real eclectic and diverse background when it comes to that, but music plays a big part in this thing that we talk about with quantum physics and energy and the idea of hue, as you have in your book. So tell me, how did you get started in this field, and what has made you so successful in your careers?
Well, we've been together 30 years now, Gerald, and we actually met in a dream, a nighttime dream.
Okay.
And Michael met me in a dream 3 years before he met me in the physical. So, but he didn't remember the dream. So let's fast forward a little. In school, he was my sociology instructor when I was 24 years old. Okay. And he was twice my age at the time. the math changes as I get older. So anyway, I get the short end of the stick. The minute he walked in the classroom, I knew he was the one. The bells went off, the inner voice, soulmate, you got a big mission together. He's the one. I ran home. I told my roommate. She thought I was nuts. Then I remained silent. I never said another word about it. Waited till the next semester, and I saw him in the hallway, and I asked Michael out, and we did lunch the next day, dinner the following night, and we were engaged in 90 days and married in 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
And the dream, Gerald, the dream for me, I mean, I was teaching at a college in Texas, and I'm a sociologist professor. Anyway, I had a clear dream one night, one of those real vivid dreams, lucid dream.
Yes.
And luckily I journaled it. I wrote it down. And in the dream, the girl was named Nicole, Dr. Nick, and blonde hair, brown eyes, looked the same. She was a stranger. I didn't know who it was in the dream, but I wrote the whole thing down.
Yep.
Fast forward 3 years. And who walks into my classroom, sociology, she's taking sociology, is Nicole. And I did not remember the dream. But eventually, I had those deja vus, those flashes like, wow, I've experienced this before. I've lived this before.
Right.
And deja vu means already having seen. And really what deja vus are when we get that feeling is a forgotten dream. We've dreamed it, been there, and then we kind of remember it, but we can't remember exactly how, where, or why.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like a deja vu.
Yeah.
But it taught me the lesson was so important was that pay attention to your dreams, Mike, because your life is going to change. It's going to take a 180-degree turn and go a different direction. That's when I realized the importance of dreams and that they were sometimes prophetic. So that's how we hooked up. And that's why we're called the Dream Team.
Oh, wow. That is really cool. Now, I want to get into your book because I did get a chance to go through it and read it like I do with all my guests. And, I found it to be really profound. As I said in the earlier call when we were talking, I have gone through my bout with vertigo and having some major life changes and having to rebuild my life. I discovered first I would write out my goals by hand as affirmations. And I also discovered a lot more about meditation because it left me, the vestibular or vertigo left me with a vestibular imbalance. So I had to slow down a lot, right? And I never called it a disability like what my doctor said I had. I called it a constraint, and I still do to this day. And so I said, okay, I'm just as powerful or effective or capable as I am before, but I have this constraint. So how do I work around it? And a part of it was meditation, yoga, all these things. And I noticed that my energy level went to another level. And as I was writing out my goals, I began to attract into my life this life that I've always wanted to live, but I didn't have to effort to get there. Things started coming to me. And so when I read your book, it was like, wow, okay, there's a lot of science and spirituality that gets into this that I think takes you a while to understand or get down into. But when you begin to experience some of these things for yourself, it really makes you question, like, how does this all work? What's going on here? How does the universe work? What's this concept of quantum physics and everything? So with all that being said, as I set the stage for our conversation, in your book, you describe Hume as a powerful tool. Can you explain how practicing Hume specifically impacts an individual's productivity, especially in relation to high-stressed environments?
Yeah, absolutely. Gerald, I'm going to throw it to Michael in a minute, but first I'm going to give the audience a demo of Hugh to orient the folks. So Hugh, it's real simple. You inhale, and on the exhale, you just say Hugh, H-U, Hugh.
Okay.
And it's from the Oxford English Dictionary, and it comes from the word human. It's that power within us. Human. Hugh. The cool thing, you can do it out loud or silently.
Okay.
Eyes open or closed. You can do it while you're doing the dishes, and you can do it while you're sitting in a business meeting. So it's user friendly at the highest level, Gerald. Michael?
Yeah, it's interesting because I was thinking about what you had just said about the transformation you were going through when you start writing your goals down.
Yeah.
And suddenly, what happens is that people begin to realize, and it's so simple and it's kind of unbelievable. We believe we got to work on it, we got to do it, we got to go out and spend 5 years, 7 years, go up the corporate ladder. We don't have to do any of that. When we have a goal and we focus on it, we become literally a mechanical magnet. We begin to draw those, and people would not believe this. You don't have to do a thing. I'm talking a damn thing. And it's unbelievable. You want to test it, try it, and you'll go, oh my God. Yeah, that's how it works. It's a formula. And that formula is C, no B. I have to see it in my imagination, like something that I want in my life.
Right.
I want to become or want to be that. Then I have to feel it. See, knowing this is feeling it. That's like asking someone, do you know you're in love? And they say, yeah, I know. And then how do you know? Well, it's a feeling. It's pretty hard to verbalize. And then being it, where we simply go into the thing ourselves. We become the thing. We kind of harmonize with the thing.
Right.
And it manifests, downloads immediately in our life. That's how things come in. That's the mechanical formula. We need a way to do that. And like Nikki was saying, what the hue does when we go, hue, that literally puts us in harmony with what we want to become. And it also allows us to focus in terms of productivity. I mean, it is sharp, it is fast. Quick story, because,
Sure.
people think this is like maybe it's spiritual mumbo jumbo or some kind of data mumbo. And no, it's not. I've worked with professional athletes when we were living in LA and Hollywood. I was teaching at a college, and one of the Lakers, I won't say the name, well-known, super famous, he wanted to come back to get his MBA at night.
Right.
And so they kept him off the rolls, but he had to have a counselor. I was his counselor, so I went to meet with him. And my question was, so what's keeping you from getting your MBA? What do you see as your problem for not doing this? And he said, Mike, Jesus Christ. He said, I play all the time. I play full time. He said, I've got endorsements. I've got a family. I've got 2 kids. He said, the pressure is so intense. He said, I can't believe I'm talking to you. It's a dream I've always had, but I don't think I can really do it. I have a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety.
Right.
I said, okay, let me give you something to get rid of the fear and anxiety and put you in the moment. And I gave him, and he literally bust out laughing. He said, Mike, I've got all these problems and you've got me humming. You've got me humming. That's the solution. I said, bro, don't knock it till you try it. He said, okay, fair enough. Fast forward a month goes by. We got to meet again to see how the program's going.
Right.
Just to tease him, when I walked into the room before he could say anything, I said, have you been hewing? He said, have I been hewing? My family's hewing. He said, Mike, the coach of the Lakers has started hewing. And he said, I'll tell you why. He said, because it works. It took my focus and my game to another level.
Mm.
There's the proof. And it's so quick, so fast, and it's simply a toning vibration that literally takes us to another level.
Yeah, it's really interesting because in my prior life, I would have looked at this and said, okay, this makes no sense to me. I would be grappling with it, right? But after going through my own journey of, like I said, the vestibular and rebuilding my life and taking time to do yoga, which de-stresses the body, which actually, move fluids around, which actually allows you to be able to take on more stress or increases your capability. And and I learned something about what's called heart math, where you take time to breathe deeply and kind of think of yourself as breathing from your heart, right? And you create a coherence between your brain and your heart. And you just spend a little time. There's even a little device that can measure physically the energy in your body to tell you if you are in coherence.
Yeah.
And as I started doing that, I tell you what, the things that started coming into my life based on what I was writing down, the people, the resources, the finances, the books, the knowledge, any and everything I needed to accomplish my goals came to me. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast. I was like, it's more about being productivity smart and not so much about just working hard. And so thank you for that story and sharing how you've actually, coached with a professional athlete and helped them turn their life around in that area. So I have another question here. You talk about Hue as a universal healing tool. How does practicing Hue address common productivity blockers or like the mental fatigue or emotional stress or a lack of focus? And maybe you can talk about the same example that you gave with the athlete and talk a little bit about the science of why does that work the way it works.
I'll give you the science and then I'll throw it to Michael,
Okay.
Gerald. Okay, so we've got our central nervous system. We're comprised of cells. Our cells are comprised of atoms, and our
Yep.
atoms are comprised of subatomic particles.
Yep.
So all we are is a big ball of energy
Yeah.
that vibrates at a certain rate and frequency. And that is known as our quantum signature. Just like you have your handwriting signature, we all have a quantum signature, and it's the rate and frequency at which our atoms vibrate. So it's also known as a state of consciousness. And
Okay.
everyone's SOC, state of consciousness, or quantum signature
Yep.
varies slightly. And you can feel it when you meet someone. People have a good vibe or
Yeah.
a bad vibe. And that's what we're talking about. And that's what we're picking up on is their quantum signature or their state of consciousness. And in terms of relationships, coupling or friends, birds of a feather flock together. And that old statement comes from people with similar SOCs or quantum signatures hang out together because it's based on attraction via a magnet of harmonic frequency.
Yeah.
Just like you with your goals, when you elevated yourself to the vibrational frequency of your goals, they were drawn to you effortlessly like a magnet. You turned yourself into a powerful magnet at a higher level, and all the good stuff started flowing right to you effortlessly.
Right.
So mechanically, when we hue, we can kind of see it like in the olden days when we used to change the spark plugs on a car, give it a tune-up so it could run harmoniously, give it some harmony there.
Right.
The hue gives us a tune-up, literally. And that word hue, it's the vibration of hue. And we've compared it with the ohm.
Right.
The hue is a higher, finer frequency, and it gets you there quicker. We've done all the testing, vibroacoustic testing, vibrational therapy, EEG testing, oximeter testing. We have all this data. We have the auric photograph, the Kirlian photography testing. So we've done a panacea of testing just to make sure our results are harmonious across the board. And certainly they are. And then 25 years of field experience with clients. So basically it's about elevating and harmonizing your atoms. If someone's depressed or anxious, really they're out of alignment. Their atoms, kind of frenetic energy instead of harmonious. And really, if you change the energy, you change the reality. Now I'll throw it to Michael, back to your baker guy.
Yeah. I said specifically, so what did it do for you? And he said, focus, Mike. Because the coach asked me, coach said, what are you doing different? You're doing better. You got a better rate and everything. And he said, the hue. And so he gave it to the coach. And the coach said, well, I'm going to try that because your game's much better. What it does, it puts us in the moment, takes us out of worrying, having anxiety, takes us out of trying to do something.
Right.
It puts us in the moment and neutralizes all the fear and the negativity, which is also why it works so well with our clients.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are depressed, suicidal ideation,
Right.
and super anxiety, and they would do anything, and they're already on meds, And so we share the hue and say, don't worry about the meds. Keep doing what you're doing. Just add the hue. And it immediately, and this is how it works mechanically, the way to visualize it, for me, I see it. When, say, you're depressed or super anxious, you're at a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Right.
Hue, within 60 seconds, we call it the 60-second therapy hack. Within 60 seconds, that 2 goes up to a 9. And suddenly that person we've had people call us, get a hold of us, not our clients, strangers, and they were suicidal. And somehow they found us on the web. We get a call. What are we going to do for this person that is suicidal, ready to kill themselves? They have a method and they're ready to do it. We shared the hue with them. They got back with us and said, oh my God, it changed everything. I'm feeling hope for the first time.
Let me read the testimonial that Gerald. This is from the guy who emailed us. He was in Washington and he was going to jump in. He was going to drown himself in Crater Lake. That was his method. He had the plan and the method. Anyhow, he said, hewing has helped me get over that obsessive, oppressive, urgent, seemingly hopeless drive to kill myself and see other options. This was just a stranger, and we gave him the hue, as Michael said. So it pulls you out. It literally, as it changes those vibes or the quantum signature, where you are, that one reality, whatever it may be,
right?
You can't stay there. You can't stay there. Literally, physically, physiologically, it pulls you into another state.
And that's pure quantum physics. If you go in and you start studying quantum, I've been studying it for 25 years now. And as a hobby, I'm not a physicist, but what it'll tell you is when you change the frequency or the vibration, you literally change your reality. Right. That's why the hue changes it so quickly. And it's the word that is the most powerful frequency and vibration that we've ever found. It's so fast, people go, it can't be that simple. And that's it. It is.
That's pretty amazing because, I have spent some time studying quantum physics. I've read a number of books and did a mind map on the concept because I wanted to understand it around the concepts of things like what's called epigenetics and kinesiology, because I got deep into like the neuroscience and the vagus nerve and how the body works, because I was trying to understand what was going on with me. Right. And then I was trying to understand what was going on. And then as I started seeing all these things happening in my life, I wanted to understand why they were happening. And working with my coaches, it led me on this journey of discovery and research around these areas of science. And when it comes down to quantum, whether it's waves and particles, a duality of waves and particles, or string theory, or just the whole concept that even down into the concept of DNA, how, DNA is nothing but little books of letters written that basically make up who we are. And that's why, for one, I believe that we use words through conversations and books that we read, that it changes us because it, through epigenetics, it reformats our bodies. It reformats our energy, because as human beings, our bodies are nothing but these fleshly antennas, if you will, that if they're tuned to the right frequency, they're going to pick up the right radio station, right? If they're tuned to negative and stressful frequencies, it's going to pick up all the bad frequencies. And so all of my research and understanding now has kind of led me down this road, which was really interesting, which led me to you guys through the conversations that we had to have you come on to the show. So it's really fascinating. And I'm looking at my questions, and you guys have actually answered a lot of my questions. And so I don't want to cut the conversation short, but at the same time, I want people to go get the book and take Gerald, a look at it.
I've got to share the story with you. For my client, this is just this week. And It's so powerful and it's perfect for the show. Okay, so here's my client, and we've worked together for a while, and she is not a regular hewer, if you will. Right. She does not use the hue on the regular. Okay, 2 things. She was to take a mathematical placement exam at school. Okay. She was supposed to take that test a year ago, Gerald, a year ago. Okay. And so we talk about it. Are you ready for the placement exam? Well, this came up and that. Okay. A week ago, she's like, you know what? I started scrolling, scrolling in her Instagram, scrolling. She goes, all of a sudden now I'm scrolling like endlessly. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, enough. And over the years, we've worked on her issues. She's off of all of her psychotropic medication. She was on opioids. That's gone. The opioids are gone. The psychotropics are gone. The cigarettes gone. She's done so much work and change on herself. And she used to hew a lot back in the day, right?
Right.
So, okay. So anyway, the placement exam for a year, sitting on her, right? Not doing it. And the scrolling. I said, will you please just, you used to hew on the regular. I said, can we try that again? Because I know the minute you do, everything's going to shift like it did. She's like, okay. So then we talked, then a week goes by. And so we talked Tuesday, just 2 days ago, right? She says, well, you know what? I'm like, what? She said, well, I took the placement exam and I placed at pre-calculus level. She only needed to place it algebra, right? She's like, I placed it pre-calc and I'm no longer scrolling and I'm not even watching TV. This is in 1 week, Gerald, where she was needing to take this placement for a year of inactivity.
Right.
And now we're scrolling. We've got our scrolling addiction going.
Right.
She started hewing again on the regular. And within 1 week, the placement exam is complete, placed pre-calc. Now she's not scrolling her TV. So that's how quick 1MAGIC word works, which is the hew. That's why we call it 1MAGIC word, because it's like magic. And let me use this last analogy and I'll throw it back to you.
Okay.
Our atoms are lying dormant. Okay. If you could see it this way.
Okay.
And the minute we use that vibration hew, out loud or silent, the central nervous system doesn't know the difference between something real or something imagined.
Right.
And so that's how it works silently as well. So the atoms are lying dormant. And the minute we start hewing, it literally activates. It activates those atoms with the hew, with 1MAGIC word, like wakey, wakey. And we start waking up literally. And that's where that activity comes from. And it really wants us to align with the best version of ourselves. So that's really what's going on. And it fills all the gaps. It's really cool. It's like, no matter what the problem is, like, I want to give up cigarettes. Well, I'm a little too angry. Well, me and my wife aren't getting along. Well, I need to study for my test. Well, I need to do more homework. Well, I need to go to the gym. Whatever the thing is, when someone adds the 1MAGIC word to their daily routine, it knows what you need. It's the most amazing thing. You don't have to program it like, it just knows what you need and it fills in the gaps.
And the real reason for that is what you already mentioned, Gerald, when you said you've read and studied some quantum physics.
Yeah.
Quantum entanglement, as you well know, has already proven. His name's John Bell. 60 years ago, he proved that everything in the universe is connected. So, like when they ask that, turn the TV on, all the crime shows, I wonder if those things are connected. The question is ludicrous, guys. Everything is connected. Just find the dots and connect them. And like Nick said, when you hew, suddenly all the stuff starts immediately getting better. And that's because it's all connected already. And the hew at a quantum level just does that. It fills in all the gaps and brings the very best version of ourselves to the surface.
Wow. With that being said, literally I look at my questions and you guys have answered every one of my questions and covered all the information. And I think this should give anyone who's listening, if you're listening, this should give you an intrigue to learn more about hew and to learn more about Dr. Nick and Mike Sebastian's work and information on them. So Dr. Nick and Mike, where could people learn more about you to discover the book, as well as some of the other things and coachings and things that you do?
All right. They can go to justsayhew.com. They can right to our website. They can email us, connect through there. They can, the do-it-yourself books, the Hue book is there. And we've got a free Dream Decoder and 1MAGIC word course. They can sign up for that and get rolling. But justsayhue.com. And Hue, again, is HU. Justsayhue.com. There you go.
Excellent. Well, I am so excited because this was a really intriguing, enlightening. I learned a lot and was reminded of a lot. And I love the science and the way you dug into it and the examples. And so I really believe this is going to be a podcast that will help a lot of people, not only just find you, but also to find their own practice of using Hue in their lives to kind of quantumly get themselves aligned, if you will. So,
wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gerald. Have a good day, darling. Talk soon.
Very good. Thank you. If you're enjoying the content and finding it valuable, we would appreciate it if you could take a moment and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us and helps us reach a wider audience. If you leave us a 5-star review, it would mean the world to us. Not only does it help us improve the podcast, but it also helps us attract more sponsors and grow our community. Thank you again for your support and for listening to the Productivity Smarts podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Productivity Smarts, where we help you achieve your goals and live your best life. We hope you've gained valuable insights and actionable strategies to boost your productivity and increase your happiness and fulfillment. Remember to apply what you've learned and keep striving towards your goals. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more inspiring episodes and expert advice from our host, Gerald J. Leonard. Until next time, keep pushing forward and unleashing your productivity smarts.